Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm doing a design team hop project. My project is part of the design team hop for tailor-made cards for you, and you're probably looking at this screen and thinking, what in the world are you doing, and are you in the right place? Well, yes you are. I am going to be using the Wine Passport kit from TaylorMade Cards for You. I think this is a really pretty kit that she has put together here, all wine theme, and I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different, but it's something I don't have any dies for, believe it or not. So I am breaking out my brother's ScanNCut that I don't really use all that often, and I'm gonna make, since we're doing wine for my project, I'm gonna do a wine tag or a wine bottle tag. So I'm just doing a quick search for wine bottle, and there is a wine bottle tag in there. It's not the design I'm going to go with, but it's close enough. So what I really need is just this one piece over here. So I've already searched for it in their library of things that they have on their website, and I'm going to say that this one is the one I want to put into my Canvas workspace, and then I'm only going to export the part that I want over to my machine. To do that, this button here is so you can put the whole thing, download the whole thing to go over to your machine. This one puts it onto the canvas right in Canvas Workspace online. There is a PC version, so you can always do that. Basically the same thing over there, but I'm just going to use the one that is online. So click on that. It says the selected parts will be imported into the edit screen as a new design. When it's saved, it will be saved in the My Projects of your account. So I hit OK, and it goes straight into the canvas. This is what the inside of Canvas Workspace looks like. Now, this one is showing that it's basically giving me two pieces that it's supposed to cut out, and that's perfectly fine. You could definitely do this as a holiday design. But instead, and it looks like it's got a registration mark right here, that little dot there, so you know that you can get it all lined up perfectly. I'm not going to actually use that part, so I'm going to get rid of this one. All I'm doing is selecting it and clicking delete, and it's gone. So this is the piece that I want to put on my ScanNCut. So I need to make sure I've got the right size paper for all the rest. I'm also sliding it over to the left just because I have a tendency to use the left side. And I think I'm also going to do it horizontally and do it horizontally across the top. And the reason I'm going to do that is because then on my machine it gives me the option to scan half of the mat in or the whole thing, and doing half the mat takes a little bit less time. So I'm lining that one up. You can also go here. This part is for the properties, and it'll tell you whether or not, it'll tell you all the things. It tells you the size. So this takes a 9.7 inch long piece of cardstock. So I'm going to be using regular 8.5 by 11. Does that, and then this gives you the degrees, so you can rotate it yourself as well. And I think it needed to be at 270, so I'll just type that one in and hit enter. And now it should be perfectly lined up like that. So now what I need to do is I need to send this over to the machine. Now if I wanted to make any kind of changes to it, I could definitely do that in here. This basically takes any kind of an SVG file you can import in, or you can create your own from scratch. There's a bunch of things that you can do with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one. This button is so that it can download. And that I have it already. Actually, I'm sorry, that is saying it was saving. Oh my goodness, I did that wrong. So this part is to save it, and it saved it with this funky name. This one is the download button. It's the big one there. So I'll click download. And then it wants to know what file transfer method do I want to do. Do I want to download it to my PC, so it'll be as a file that I can then put on a USB stick or something like that and carry over to my machine, or since I have the Wi-Fi feature turned on my machine, I can do a ScanNCut transfer straight over to my machine. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it says it is ready. So now all I need to do is go over to my machine and get that part done. So I don't know, probably a year ago or so, I restuck my mats using a Paper Studio mat. This is actually one of the sticky mats that works great for the Cricut. It's the right size for that, and this has been working pretty well on my machine. I have not had any reason to restick it, and you can tell it is pretty sticky still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of cardstock on here. This actually goes in this direction. I'm going to put it in horizontally because I did shift that that design to be horizontal, and I'm going to stick this right up at the edge and then press that one down. So now it's going to be kind of stuck to my mat. And this was an old mat that I was going to have to throw away anyway, so I didn't really do any damage to it. And I do have my machine kind of set to do what I need to do. So now I need to take this over to my ScanNCut and cut that image that we sent over using the Canvas workspace.
Absence, life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away. And the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love.
Okay, so now we can take that off. And the best way to take your paper off of your sticky mat is to basically just kind of fold it off, and then you can just pull it right off of the paper of that off of the sticky mat without damaging the paper. And just like with die cutting, sometimes you do get a couple of pieces that decide they're going to try to stick, but I'd say that turned out pretty well, and I've got some scrap cardstock to play with. So while I was doing all of that, I went ahead and printed out some images from that collection from Monica's wine passport kit. Okay guys, I'm a little tired. I have been healing from this gouging wound in my arm. Okay, it's not that bad anymore. It's getting better. I just heal very slow, but I've been very tired from that, and I'm a little bit behind still. So anyhow, here is the piece that we're going to be using as our wine bottle tag. And we're going to decorate that up using some of these images. Now, I wasn't sure how much paper I actually needed, so what I thought I would do is go ahead and enlarge some of her images. This image was actually on half of an 8.5 by 11, and I went ahead and cropped it and then put it into Word and printed it out from there. Did the same kind of thing with this one. This image is originally from here. And I wanted that to be much longer. I wanted to cover pretty much the entire tag. So I cut both of those out, and I figured I could still use some of the ephemera on here. First things first, though, I need to figure out exactly how much of this paper I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over And I'm going to trace out my little image here. I'm also not, I don't think I'm going to actually use this top part and layer that up, so I don't actually need all of it. Best way for me to line it up and make sure it's straight is doing what? Using washi tape, just like I always do for pretty much everything. So I'm just going to tape it down right about here to make sure it stays in place. Then I'm taking a pencil, just drawing a line right around there. Hoping that I actually drew on here dark enough to be able to see the darn line, because I'm not 100% sure I will. There we go. You can't see it, but I can. There is a little line there. So now I can just take out my paper trimmer and or a pair of scissors. I do need a pair of scissors for this, probably. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and trim it across this way first. Pretty close to where that is, but not exact. Now I've got this nice, this is actually big enough to put on a card. That is cool. And then I'm going to cut right up to that line. Now I can see the line and I can line it up with the edge of my blade. And that looks good. Awesome. Now I've got another piece that's big enough for a card. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I like using my paper trimmer primarily because it saves me a lot of time, where scissors are not so much. I also don't always cut as well with my scissors as I'd like. I mean, I'm getting better. Every time you practice anything, you do get a little better at it. Okay, so now we've got here, and this is what that would look like. And it's perfect fit. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. I think I do like having it the full like that. Before I do that though, I think what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing right over one of the grapes. I'm going to have, I think I want this one to come down and kind of be in the center there. And I'm going to have this as my matting layer. It is very, very pretty, and I think I might actually want it to be a little bit offset, so a little bit more of the greenery. So I'm just going to line that up with the edge and do the same thing with my pencil. Try to do it a little bit darker on this color. And I can see it good. I want to make sure I can actually see that line. So now I can do the same thing and cut this one. And it is light enough that if I changed my mind, it would be really easy to get rid of that line. But I think that is kind of where I want it. Plus, I'm going to trim it down just a touch, a little bit on each of the sides, so that I can have some of the red showing. First, start off with trimming it at the bottom. And then I can trim it right about where that line is on each of the sides, and then I can trim it down once I decide exactly how much I want to go in. Okay. So right now they match up perfectly. I don't want that. I do want it to have, I think I want to have a 1/2 inch in on each side, so I'll have a lot of that red showing. I think that'll be pretty, which means I need to cut off, that's actually a 1/4 inch, so I need to cut a 1/2 inch, which means a 1/4 off of each side. So this is like right at 3 inches. Yep, that was right at 3 inches, so I need to cut it down to 2.5 with a 1/4 off of each side. Okay. And then we will take a look. And I think that's going to be a pretty border. Awesome. And now I can trim off the bottom portion. So I've got that fishtail. Okay. And then when I put it on my banner here, it'll line up right in the center, but you know what? That's not what I want. I want this to be up a little bit too. So that means I'm going to be cutting off about a 1/4 inch off of the other end. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, let's see. 1/4 inch. I'm going to do it with my pencil because this isn't long enough. I'll just do a mark here. And about here. And I broke the lead. Okay, now I can cut that right about that 1/4 inch mark. It's only going to cut off a little bit of the leaves. And now, if I have it all the way up to the top, that leaves me that little 1/4 inch all the way around. I think that is going to be lovely. Okay, so let me go ahead and start putting this part together, just gluing everything into place, and then I can decide on my embellishments. Just going to take my art glitter glue and put that all over the back of my flag here. Line that right up with the edge and again on the sides. Okay, and do the same thing with my grapes. That is super cute. Okay, what I did decide I want to use these two, and I might use this one, so let me go ahead and get those cut out. Okay, so I'm going to lay all of this flat. Yeah, you're probably surprised. I'm not adding dimension to this one. Okay, and then for this piece, I figure that's going to be a great place to leave a note, like when you're giving this to someone. So let's put it on the back of the inside. And I'll do the same thing and just add some art glitter glue to the back. Okay, so that is complete. Now all we need to do is see how it looks on a wine bottle. Okay, I didn't have any regular wine bottles. It's been a while. So this is actually something I made a couple of years ago. Just drill a hole in the back and put some Christmas lights in there. I think it turned out cute. But anyway, you can see that this fits perfectly on our wine bottle. And I think that that would make a perfect gift for when you go to your holiday parties this year. You guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out this playlist with some more projects where I'm using tailor-made cards for you, digital kits, and check out the rest of the hop to see some more food and drink inspired projects, all featuring products from Tailor-Made Cards for You. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.